Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
I've called, the DMV locally. They just said they're so behind because of the computer issues and everything else.
A Moorhead man says he's had it. He's been waiting for a set of license plates and the title to his car for 4 months.
Randy Brovold got caught up in the new Minnesota Vehicle License and Registration System, MNLARS. It has become a political battle in St. Paul and a nightmare for Minnesota drivers.
So Brovold called the whistleblower hotline and shared his story with Valley News team's Melanie Palmer.
I can't get a good answer when I'm going to get those plates.
Randy Brovold bought his car in January, and he's been trying to get his license plates and title ever since. Instead, all he ends up with are these temporary slips.
To go on and on and on, I'll probably fill the window.
And he, as you might imagine, is frustrated, very frustrated. He says he's tired of going to the dealer month after month to get these slips. He just wants a license plate.
I would hope there's some kind of a workaround, because I do feel I am a customer. I've paid the state and I should have a product.
And he's not alone. He's just one of thousands of Minnesotans in the same boat. And it's not only drivers being affected by this, there are folks in the car business who share the pain.
I've seen people wait 8 months for a title, some 6 months, and yeah, it's been taking forever.
Amity just opened up a car dealership in Moorhead back in November. He tells us he's seen this problem firsthand from customers.
They always call me and see what's taking so long for them to get their title, thinking it's my fault. Really it's not, because we turn all of our stuff into the DMV.
So what's the holdup? We stopped by the DMV here in Moorhead. A worker here tells us this new system has been a nightmare, but the state's trying to fix it. And we asked State Representative Paul Marquardt what's going on. He says it's a mess, and legislation is working on it. But they're not there yet. A bill was just signed by the governor, and Marquardt says it's in the right direction, but still doesn't know when everything will be fixed. And for people like Randy, they're hoping it moves in that direction sooner rather than later.
Wish the dealers would actually say something, that it's going to be a while, and maybe DMV sending out something to people, letting them know, that this is going to be a wait.
And here's another twist in the story. Randy decided he wants to sell the car, but he can't without the plates or title. In Moorhead, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
We also spoke with State Representative Kent Aiken on the matter. He tells us he's heard a lot of complaints from Minnesotans waiting on their license plates and titles. He says the bill that was just passed will give an additional $10 million to fix this new system. And he tells us some people have requested going back to the old system used for vehicle registration, but he believes that would cost even more money. As we mentioned, this story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. If you need help with a serious issue, call the phone number on your screen, 701-237-6576, and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and try to expose the truth.
You may have grabbed a jacket today with winds picking up a bit, but you may want to keep an umbrella handy as we go into the evening. Let's check in with Hutch to see if we've got rain in our forecast. Hutch?
Andrea, indeed, we have changes on the way as we head to the evening hours tonight. We've seen gusts over 40 miles per hour in our northern counties, and it continues to gust well over 30 miles per hour for many of us. We have some minor flooding here in the southern Red River Valley, with the exception of the Hillsborough area, where it's still at moderate stage, rather. Rivers still rising in the far north, but declining in parts of the central Red River Valley. We'll keep you updated with that. Here's a look at the satellite. Clouds on the increase and some showers developing in southern Canada. This moves through overnight, but not this evening. So we'll stay dry. Temperatures for the most part in the 50s, and the wind does taper off, but only a pinch as we go through the evening hours. I'll have details on the rest of your Thursday outlook and the weekend planner as well here in a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch. And make sure you have the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app so you can keep up with the weather anytime, anywhere. You'll get the latest forecasts and conditions so you can plan your day. All you have to do is search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free.
A group of parents is suing state and county child protection agencies in Minnesota, alleging children are illegally being removed from homes. The civil rights lawsuit filed claims that the state's child protection laws are overly broad and that children are taken from their homes and placed in foster care for parental discipline, such as spanking. The Star Tribune says the main plaintiff in the lawsuit says 2 of his children were removed from his home by child welfare workers after a babysitter reported they had spanked his son. The Minnesota Department of Human Services has not commented on the case.
A Minnesota woman accused of killing her husband at their home before killing a woman in Florida, allegedly, and stealing her identity, will stand trial in the Florida case first. Scott Rose, the sheriff of Dodge County, Minnesota, says 56-year-old Lois Reese will go to Florida to face a second-degree murder charge, while Minnesota authorities build their case against her in the March killing of her husband. Sheriff Rose stated that second-degree murder charges will be filed once forensic results are back from the lab. Authorities say Lois Reese killed her husband, 54-year-old David Reese, at their Blooming Prairie home before heading to Florida and killing 59-year-old Pamela Hutchinson. New video shows the moment Reese was taken into custody in a South Texas restaurant. In the video, you can see Reese at the corner of the bar. That's when several officers enter, surround her, handcuff her, and escort her out. Police say they caught up to Reese after someone in the restaurant recognized her from a television news report and dialed 911.
A Minnesota man is fighting for his life after a head-on crash with a semi in Wadena County. 70-year-old Larry Libra of Monaga was driving north on Highway 71 yesterday afternoon when he crossed the center line, crashing into the front of the southbound semi-truck. Libra was airlifted to Fargo Hospital. The driver of the semi was not hurt.
Health officials in Minnesota are warning people about a potential measles outbreak in the state. A non-Minnesota resident who had measles traveled through the Winona and Albert Lea areas in the southern parts of the state from April 13th through the 16th. Anyone who went to retail locations in those areas could be exposed. People are urged to watch for symptoms, which could include fever, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, and rash.
An area nonprofit received a huge donation from a local grocery store today. Hornbachers presenting a $48,000 check to Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Village. The money came in part from donations during the Bowl for Kids' Sake fundraiser. Employees also raised money in pledges for their bowling teams.
It costs at least $1,000 to make and support a match. So raising $48,000 for this year means 48 more kids in our community are going to be able to be served through that mentoring relationship. So this is the fun part. We get to celebrate the good work that everybody has done and the impact that it's going to make on the kids.
Since 2002, Hornbachers has donated over $580,000 to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
U.S. Minnesota Senator Tina Smith hosted the 8th annual Minnesota Congressional Delegation Hot Dish Competition this morning in Washington, D.C. Smith is carrying the torch passed on by her predecessor, Al Franken. Smith has a lot on her plate in her first year in the Senate, but she says getting together with Minnesota colleagues from both sides of the aisle and switching paperwork for paper bowls brings a welcome break. The competition featured 4 judges and 10 hot dish creations from each congressional office.
You come together over a meal and, there might be things that you're disagreeing on, but then when you sit down and eat, it's not that big of a deal anymore.
Republican Congressman Tom Emmer had the best carb-filled treat, which was decided after a tiebreak. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar says despite not winning since the first year of the competition, it's important to keep this event alive.
The United States Attorney General is coming to Fargo. Jeff Sessions will be here Friday morning. A news release says that Sessions will make a law enforcement-related announcement and will talk about the opioid crisis. Sessions will be the 4th member of the Trump administration to visit North Dakota in the past year.
Green is a welcome color this time of year, but not when it's the waste from a neighboring processing plant. The story later on Valley News Live at 6.
New numbers are out regarding average teacher pay. Up next, how Minnesota and North Dakota educators are faring.